making sure that Blaber is on something he's really comfortable with.
Yeah, and the jungle pool is pretty thin at this point with this many bans. There are some key picks available, including the Diana, which has been a staple for EG. They really like the Diana because that allows them to run Diana Lucian. Lucian is one of Jiizuke's most played and most successful champs. So I would like to see them go for that. I think it's one of the combinations that gives them the mixture of damage that they need in terms of magic and AD, and it gives them the early game tower pressure that I think they thrive on. You have Svenskeren in here over his contracts. I think part of the reason that I like Svenskeren with Jiizuke is because their mid-jungle coordination is so good. Svenskeren spends so much time in the enemy jungle, and he knows how to cover and protect for Jiizuke.
We only saw a small taste of Svenskeren in the previous series. Now here in the very first game, as some of the locks are going in, we know that Varus has been a staple for multiple teams.
Right. I think this bot lane is going to be pretty rough for Sett. They're against Aphelios Thresh, but I don't think they're going to get bullied by that. I don't believe Danny's 2v2 is that strong. Even outside of that, we've seen a lot of roaming from supports nowadays, whether that be because they don't want a 2v2 or whether they think it's more impactful to gank mid or top. I'm not entirely sure. But even in that case, I think they'll focus more on 2v2 bot lane here, especially since they have Aphelios Thresh. But I don't think they're going to win that lane versus Sven Vulcan. Like I said, I think Sven's a better AD carry than Danny by probably a good margin, actually. Like, yes, Danny is the rookie of the split, and he's been playing phenomenal. We just started the day off with that massive highlight, but I don't think he is better AD carry than Sven. I don't think he's gonna be able to push that lane, and that's a hard lane to win anyway. So,
I mean, they definitely don't pressure the 2v2 as much as I think. Like, if you're looking at these two, despite the fact that we went through Vulcans, or in this or that, they went through Vulcan's support proximity and how or duo procs, how it dropped. I definitely think that C9 has the better 2v2 just generally.
Yeah. So what I'm really interested to see here is how EG responds to now this Lucian being gone. There are some power picks available mid lane, like Syndra and LeBlanc, both available. I think probably no matter what, we're gonna end up with C9 having the stronger 2v2 because either Syndra or LeBlanc plus Lee Sin is gonna be a huge kill threat in mid lane. So it might be that we see Jiizuke just decide to default to Rise because that's a pick that allows him to impact side lanes. And
it's off.
And it's off. So we can't do that either. So let's see if anyone leaves Syndra up.
Right. I think it's pretty easy to actually focus Jiizuke's champion pool, not in the sense that he's bad on other champions, but he clearly has champions that he's much better at than others. For example, his Rise, he's like an S tier Rise, but you bring him on a champion like Orianna or something like that, I think he's only like a B tier Orianna or like an A tier at max. And you do the same with his Lucian. You just do a couple bans at mid, and he goes from being like a #1 all-pro NA mid laner to just being a good mid laner. And that's not like a hit on him at all. It's very hard to have like S tier champions in every way to play. So I think this series is just going to really test his ability to be a top tier mid, getting bans focused on him.
Yeah, I will say that on Syndra last series, I thought he was S tier. I mean, even in the first game, although they ended up losing, we saw him have so much impact. He had like flash engages on Syndra, which is like kind of the lunatic play you would only expect from a player like Jiizuke. And in the second game, he completely dominated Abadaga mid. Granted, he went up 2-1 early off of the early jungle skirmish, but he eventually forced 100 Thieves to ban him. So I agree, his champion pool is relatively thin, but he's super effective within that pool. I'm surprised to see them pick up Sett when Syndra's still up, honestly.
Right, well, you don't want to do Syndra Diana. Like, they're still probably going to do it because his champion pool doesn't, there's not very many AD options that are good here. And it's not the best, but when you're picking Syndra, you want an AD jungler so that they can't just get the first, what's the little item called? That's not Banshee Veil, it's the smaller part of it.
Verdant Berry.
Yeah, Verdant Barrier. People are going to rush that to get Merc Treads, and then Syndra no longer has kill pressure. And then at that point, it becomes a scaling game. Syndra's mid game is really weak if she's not ahead in kills and stuff like that, comparatively to other mid laners like Orianna. Her team fight pressure just isn't there. So it's just a rough 2v2 setup, whereas like Orianna Lee Sin, you can't itemize against that. So the 2v2 goes in the favor of C9 here.
Now the draft is fully locked for both sides. Emily, take it all in. What do you make of this first game one?
I mean, I think C9's comp is really easy to execute. I also think, obviously, the Lee Sin, who's kind of flown under the radar as like a power pick jungler with stuff like the Xin is still incredibly strong, and they should be able to attack the 2v2 that way against the Diana Syndra. So I'd hesitantly go C9's way, but I think EG has all the tools they need to be able to execute in their side lanes.
Yeah, I also go C9. I agree with Hai that the Syndra Diana makes it a little difficult with the overloaded magic damage, but I think it's the right picks for these particular players.
Welcome everyone. Boy, oh boy, is it getting spicy here in the LCS. My name is PastryTime. Joining me is Raz once again, and Kobe completing this trio for what should be quite a match. There are no more chances here in the lower bracket. One world slot left, and C9 and EG are still here fighting for it.
We had to bring the whole squad for this Elimination Series playoff set, Raz.
This one was going to be a banger. Everybody knew that when Evil Geniuses, the way they play, the play style they have going up against Cloud9, you're going to get a back and forth series. So let's just see how the level 1 plays out. Fog of War being pinged.
And we think we're definitely going to get an aggressive series. I really did like from Champ Select the focus that Evil Geniuses actually put on Blaber. Triple banning jungle, all these AD junglers banned out, and kind of pushing Cloud9 in a direction of first picking this Lee Sin for Blaber, which does give Blaber, a lot of options early on. However, then with the solo lane picks, it seems like this Lee Sin, if he wants to create stuff, is going to have to tend to the bottom half of the map where the Nautilus is, Zven and Vulcan, and try and play through bottom, maybe unlock Vulcan for more roaming later.
Yeah, you have to imagine how many changes would have to be if Evil Geniuses don't succeed with this strategy, trying to unlock the Diana there for Svenskeren. This doesn't pan out with the 3 jungle bans, especially how Blaber has been ramping up in this split. Feel like it's going to be a pivotal game in this series.
All right, well, if you wanted a telling look at how maybe the matchup's going to go, mid lane's already at it at level 1, exchanging Qs and auto attacks. Airy there for Jiizuke versus Perkz' phase rush. Definitely expecting a lot of action, even though drops have been a little bit more mid-game oriented, but Jiizuke early on with the Syndra getting that push going.
And we're certainly going to see Diana here, Svenskeren, farming up from bottom side, so he's going to just look for the full clear. But look what Blaber has done with his route on Lee Sin. Bottom side, pretty decent trading here, but he's actually not gone for red, just went Raptors into Krugzoe, so he's going to have a very long red buff and a late respawn of it.
Well, not a good cue for Perkz to eat, but we are going to get a bit of additional insight. Dash is standing by with Coach Mithy.
Thank you very much, gents. I'm here with Mithy. Already the nerves setting in, I'm sure, as this is an elimination best of 5. So thank you for taking a quick moment to talk to me as we see action breaking down in the bot lane. Vulcan and Zven doing work. I'm curious for you, what was talked about for the team between last week and this week, given that it is an elimination matchup for you as a coach? What were kind of those words you instilled the team with between last and this?
Well, it was elimination match last week too. It's just probably were like very hardcore favorites. I mean, for me, it's just like, if I was playing, I'd be very happy to play these kind of games because it's like, this is where it's actually fun. Like all the other part is like very repetitive and very boring. So, I mean, I just told them I'm jealous they are where they
I
where
love
they
that. All right, so yeah. Sit in the pressure, let that build up and let it push you to do better. This game, though, specifically, let's talk drafts. I'm just kind of curious when you take a look at what both teams have come to the table with. What are the win conditions here for Cloud9 in game 1?
I think both teams are like focused on team fighting, so it's just gonna be a matter of like who plays better. I think in the fights, I don't know necessarily who's gonna be favored. I think we'll just have to wait and see.
All right, well, when the teams pick for team fighting, that means we are up for quite a show. So thank you very much. Best of luck to you and the squad here in this series. For now, back to the casters.
Okay, critical follow-up here then. The big cooldowns that were used during the interview are so many summoner spells on the bottom half. Cloud9 actually forced out both of Danny's summoners, with Vulcan starting his hook as Ignar's hook is going out on him, and so they get the engage onto the opponent AD carry. They come out +1 on summoner spells, having the heal advantage, and you can tell that both mid and bottom for Cloud9 trying to create volatile lanes to create opportunities for Blaber to have that influence, and he does visit but gets spotted out, so no actual gank pulled off.
It goes back to the point that you alluded to in draft. This is a draft where Cloud9 wants to go bot side anyway, so them having actually a volatile lane state is good for them. That means that they can set up plans for a dive. So the pressure that Blaber's putting through mid here will solidify that. If Perkz has one wave in which he can come through with Blaber towards the bottom side of the map, that's the play that Cloud9 can open this game with.
I think volatile is the name of the game so far here in these opening 5 minutes or so. There has been a ton of trading of summoners, of just general back and forth here in the lanes. Jiizuke has been like emptying his mana pool versus Perkz pretty much since level 1 here. You can see he has used the TP, shoving that lane in. Looks like he might take a reset here as well, but both these teams are trying to get a foothold very early on in these matchups.
And the stakes are so big for both of these teams. You know, Cloud9 has a history of being such a reliable representative for North America at Worlds. Here we go, though. Blaber's just walking up for the dive.
Boy. I love the gank. The wave set so well. Fudge set it up, and who's going to knock it down? It's Impact, baby! You cannot stop him!
That was the most hilarious way in which you could get the dive across. I thought it was gonna work too, Kobe.
I actually did not. Running up right into the stun there. Impact plays it so well. He gets his W, he gets his flash off, completely surprises him with the redirect and annihilates Blaber. It looked like he's just running straight into it.
Yep.
What a play there from Impact, though. He's done so well always in defending dives, defending, you know, with extra jungler attention up on his half of the map. And now, with the first blood money, this is going to make Sett a monster.
Which pro view? Impact's pro view is what we're going to be looking. He can't step away from the turret too. He needs to stack this huge stacking waves here. So being able to just take this 2v1 dive would have been another kill on Fudge if he didn't flash.
It's just so good. The face breaker position there. He gets the stun on both of them. He hits the W, then flashes backwards, get out of range, and still hits the true damage center mark onto Blaber. Just incredibly well done by him. But man, that bold, you know, just walk up straight looking for the dive shows that Cloud9 are coming into this game trying to play with confidence and forcing these things. It does mean it puts them in a little bit of a hole on the top side of the map, though.
Yes, and so like we've seen this many a times during these playoffs. We've seen Alphari constantly set up dives, usually incorporating a support or a mid laner to come in if it's a 3-man if they think it's going to be difficult. Sett is notoriously a difficult top laner to dive. In this case, it just didn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be thinking about both of the big playmaking abilities he has. Facebreaker, which he got the perfect stun on both of them, and of course the giant shield from your W as well. So let's see how this is going to have a rollover effect, because we're approaching, you know, 7 minutes, 10 seconds here. Rift Herald is going to be on the map very quickly, and you also have the big power points of Diana now finally has hit that level 6, so Svenskeren does get to have some sort of a say about it, and with Impact getting that first blood money, it really does kind of overload the top side of their map.
We mentioned that supports. Unfortunately, it's been 2v2 action.
Yep.
Only in the bottom lane, Danny up a little bit. In fact, EG overall, FTX gold advantage, up over 1,000 here for this early game, which is a very nice start, thanks to Impact's little response there in the top lane.
Yeah, and because of what happened in the top lane, TP advantage there for Impact. He's able to come in with steel-toe boots, so right now he's actually stronger in this situation. So Evil Geniuses should feel really confident, you know, being able to pressure through bot side, allow Ignar to roam up top, and then look for this Rift Herald play.
Yep, there's this Rift Herald that we're talking about getting set up right now. Ward goes down from Cloud9 to keep some vision on it, but that's not going to be enough to do anything about it, because you see on the bottom of the mini-map right here, they're choosing to recall Varus, so no way that he gets there in time. Should be Evil Geniuses forcing through on this one, and you already see that their bottom lane is heading back. They half rotated up. They're not going to overcommit.
Yeah, and they had full control of their own jungler, so like, or their own red side jungle. So even if Danny made the rotation, you're not fast clearing there if you're Zven. You didn't really know if they were going to fully commit there or just stick in lane. So no
Vulcan
reaction.
looking for the setup, doesn't get a great flash out of Jiizuke, but at least they trade.
Very necessary flash, and that flash cooldown is the only thing that Cloud9 gain out of this past, you know, minute of plays that Evil Geniuses set up, because Evil Geniuses recognize that they didn't have to overcommit the rotation of Danny and Ignar to the Rift Herald, and they sent them back down to bottom lane. They did get there in time for that minion wave. Cloud9, though, they followed up with a dragon as well, so at least you get, you know, that small value from the single dragon to start it out, and they do get the first one.
Yeah, and honestly, this is going to be a dragon stacking game from Cloud9, the way that Blaber has been pathing top to bot side, trying to help Zven and Vulcan, or at least utilize the double CC that they have. So that's going to be the strategy, but man, Svenskeren able to get Rift Herald, now looking for a top lane turret, has Jiizuke here. This might just be a full turret.
Jiizuke is kind of low on mana, but that's why it's critical. They fed him blue buff, so he can still remain up on top side to ensure that they can force through for the first charge here for Rift Herald. It's going to get it all the way down to a single plate. Huge gold lead has ballooned here for them because of that focus.
And this is the flexibility I love out of EG, right? Impact got an early kill in lane thanks to the response to the botch dive, and now they're sending resources top lane. That is not typically the EG plan, but they know they can pivot their top side if they need to.
Yeah, and this is a much more disciplined play here from Evil Geniuses, though. It seems like Impact sees a play here. TP, I think, is coming just up now for Jiizuke. This could be a play being made.
Yeah, Vulcan's here as well, but he's actually been up this side of the map for a while.
Yeah, I think Impact needs to remain fairly cautious here because he knows he doesn't have a lot of support.
Oh, 1v3, but now can he get the kill out of it? Exhaust is down, the trap is sprung, and Cloud9 with the revisit get it this time.
It's a bait all the way. I think he knows he has to remain cautious here, but Fudge, he does such a good job of baiting there. You know, it's his team telling him, all right, look juicy right now.
Yep.
Look juicy. He does just that. He's able to just orange out of the Sett ultimate there. Does not get into critical execution range. Completely baits Impact back. He gets the kill back for the team. Does cost you opposite side of the map, though, because Cloud9 overloaded 3 members for that top side play. And here's the bait. Take us through it, Raz.
Yeah, so I thought the TP was what we were gunning for, but no. Fudge trying to get his wave, and, you know, Impact thought he was desperate, so he's like, this is the play I'm looking for. A solo kill all along? No. Both Blaber and Vulcan are here on time. Exhaust really well placed, too. So rest in peace to Impact.
Just eat the orange and everything is K. Fudge saves it. He baited him in all along. Cloud9, though, gonna collapse here through the river. The crab, not worth dying over. Maybe fight, though. Blaber's smite isn't even on cooldown.
Yeah, Blaber didn't get it, of course. Smite goes away. Ignar finds one. Hook into the box for Vulcan there. Ulti out of Zven on the other side. Vulcan low. The shockwave killed Svenskeren out of the incoming leap, and now he's low, but he is not dead. Nobody going down outside this dragon, but it was awfully close, Kobe.
And now what they can do from here is keep Fudge pushing on top side. This is very, very tremendous for Cloud9's map pressure. He's got ultimate. He has now teleport advantage as well. So you see the Gangplank mining a turret plate in payment for the attempted setup here by EG.
Yeah, and everything, actually, ulti from GP. They're looking for a play on Jiizuke.
Nice for Jiizuke, knocking Blaber back, but Blaber flashing in, finds a slow, just needs a little bit more damage. Q is landed, that's an easy one, and Blaber will collect it.
Yeah, this is turning lopsided here for EG real quick after that fight. I can understand why C9 was contesting the river, because if that goes EG's way, then Zven has no way to be able to get to bot lane turret, and that turret would just be there for Evil Geniuses to take. But yeah, Jiizuke trying to get his wave in, and now he's going to be losing this. Actually, yeah, he will have TP there.
Meanwhile, on that top side, you know, checking in on the amount of work that Fudge was able to do with Impact teleporting to the dragon fight, he actually got it all the way down to 2 turret plates just by hand for this Gangplank, and has been able to make up so much of that extra money that was afforded to Impact by the Rift Trail charge going down on this top plate. Does still result in Evil Genius's first tower, but I like your point, you know, Cloud9 closing in on that gold gap.
Certainly keeping it closer here as next dragon's going to be up in a minute 10. You said it already, Raz. It is a dragon stacking angle for Cloud9 this game, so we'll see if they do set themselves up. Still have that CP. Fudge basically deliberately let that tower die on top side. It was pretty close anyway, but wanted to hold on to that teleport for the incoming play. And of course, we'll have the ulti back up in, you know, about half its cooldown remaining. With the Divine Thunder already, Fudge can definitely make an impact in this next bottom side fight.
Yeah, taking a look and kind of seeing how either team wants to fight, I do like this quite a bit for Evil Geniuses. If GP ulti is down, that's a major cooldown that honestly I don't think Cloud9 would want to fight without.
Yeah, I really want to examine a couple of the advantages for Fudge on this Gangplank right now, because in 30 seconds, it's going to be only like 5 seconds left on his ultimate cooldown, so maybe they do delay it a little bit for that.
I think so.
And they retain this teleport advantage, so it's going to be very telling right now which way they have Impact travel, and you see from base, he's actually coming over to the fight. So they want to force it as quickly as possible to not allow for that extra time for Cloud9. Meanwhile, with the teleport, Fudge can push out on top side, try and get the minions going their way there first before converging and joining the rest of the team. Plus, because he went the Divine Thunder, does give you the extra sustain there for the single target. Perkz, though, good dodge on the stun.
Yeah, they have to know that Impact's already here. Should have spotted him by now. Indeed, he's in the front line, so they will. Cloud9, though, looking for this dragon, but the tower is the first target here. Fudge ready with the ulti.
Yep, and they're just trying to delay, but Dragon down to 2,000 health.
Who's going to grab it? Vulcan going to miss the hook. TP coming in, but a little late perhaps out of Fudge. Zven finds one with the ulti, but Vulcan already low. Dragon goes over, Svenskeren grabs it. Now Cloud9 looking for the fight. Impact with a big chunk out of Vulcan's health bar. Two-man stun out of Jiizuke. Lets the ulti rip. Shockwave finds two. In for Impact there, gets the damage down with the ulti. And the Nautilus up follows suit, but somehow cooldown straight and across the rift and no one's dead.
Great kick there from Blaber to stop Impact from engage, but the fight's not over yet.
Look for Ignar, Impact there as well. Blaber now caught out of position. Goldrinker doing very well there to get his health back, and he dashes back to Zven.
In the end, Evil Geniuses are able to smite away this dragon. Quick fingers from Svenskeren. It was a close attempt. You know, Cloud9, they try and time the arrow with Zven and Blaber going in on his Sonic Wave. But Svenskeren's able to get that smite. They even up the dragons. They take it away, and they make this game that much closer. They were able to take away teleport advantage from the side of Cloud9. They also got the ultimate out, and Svenskeren's back at it.
Svenskeren, oh, what a great ulti. Zven just caught out position, just tries to farm the wave because there's nothing else to do. Svenskeren finds one.
Yeah, his team based after the previous fight and uses Greeting for another wave there, so a great pickoff by Svenskeren. But looking at the previous fight, the one criticism I'll say from Cloud9, because Fudge did have his ulti for it, I just wanted him to be there first for the fight, to create space with his barrels first, make it difficult for Evil Geniuses to walk into you, because it's not just about the ulti that makes GP. It's the double whammy of that, barrel placements that make it difficult for Danny to walk forward.
Yeah, it's not quite an Azir flanking TP, but, you know, it's not the best, let's say. Oh, and the GP is coming in around the backside as Impact looking to try and finish off tower number 2 is going to get it. One more punch to the structure will collect it. Fudge here alongside Perkz, though. Maybe going to try and slow him down, but Impact should be able to weasel his way out. Does have flash, gets slowed by the barrel. Now here comes Perkz, Shockwave at the ready, rank 2, Impact getting in there, pops him back with the ulti, now the Shockwave comes through, pops the W though, and Fudge is taking the tower, they're looking for it here, the flash is down, they know they can get it, it's Perkz that finishes it off!
And great positioning by him to not allow that flash from Impact to get actually directly under the turret. The flash from Impact, he was hoping to get a little bit of a better angle on his own ult to jump back and get a little bit more further to safety, but Perkz hovers up to the top side, so even with the flash, Impact does not get to safety, and Cloud9, they answer back in the turret push as well.
This is what I genuinely like about Cloud9 if they're in a deficit, or at least, you know, after a bad play. If they recognize they can't take a fight on the opposite side of the map, instantly, they don't waste time. Move to the other side. This time they found Impact slacking, of course, just trying to pick up a wave there. And so that's going to be a nice way of at least being able to get gold on the map. Bot lane turret, kill on top laner. Nice move from Cloud9.
Yeah, 2 towers apiece now traded back and forth. The gold lead to EG1 Sett has now shrunk as the FTX gold advantage. Only a couple hundred gold ahead, so really not much for EG to look at here. It's a dragon apiece. It's 2 towers each. It is very close throughout this early game here. Blaber and Fudge feeling like the early winners on the Cloud9 side, whereas on the EG side, I guess Svenskeren with the 1 kill, but as we kind of heard from Mithy, as we expected from this draft, much more about the 5v5s in the mid-game.
Yeah. And honestly, as the game goes on, next dragon's going to be coming up. It's going to be an Ocean Soul. Like, Cloud9's eventually going to have to fight for these objectives or walk into Evil Genius's composition. And that means you're walking into the hook. You're walking into Syndra's eventual stun. Like, these things, Cloud9 do not want. So they're trying to at least scourge an advantage on the opposite side of the map to make it not as bleak as it is now.
And that's why I think for Evil Geniuses, it's going to be critical if they can set up their side waves first, because that allows Impact to try to apply this pressure to Cloud9, so you don't get that ideal setup, you know, with rush advantage and Shockwave blocking some areas and the Gangplank barrels blocking the other ones.
Yeah.
Evil Geniuses, if they can get their side waves set up without having their split pushers get picked off, that is going to be their big advantage.
Definitely tough stuff though in the side lane for EG right now. Jiizuke catching waves, can't really do much. It's not something like LeBlanc or Lucian where you can really permanently be in a side lane. And Fudge has got 2 items. Like, he's ready to roll in any sort of 1v1. Not to mention that Perkz or Blaber could potentially be down there. Oh, Vulcan actually, who hasn't been able to be as active as he has been in earlier games. In fact, neither support really done much other than stick with their teams because there's just been so much fighting in these lanes.
Most critical thing right now is try and track these supports. Both of them are going to be the big playmakers for their teams. Vulcan leading the charge here on the invade. Nautilus, flash, hook, and ultimate all available, but he gets stunned up.
Good damage there. Gravity gun down. Vulcan going to be the target. Svenskeren looking for the play. Gets exhausted. And now in the middle of it all, the hook after the stasis makes it so easy. Perkz clips another kill, gets another in the ulti, as well as Impact is going to be the double.
Damn well placed ultimate from Fudge, because Vulcan getting out of safety, getting out of danger. Well played there, but Svenskeren had no exit strategy.
Yeah, meanwhile, Vulcan has the whole squad helping him get out of there, and so it's an overcommitment from the EG jungler. This one misses, though.
They're going in again. Ignar looking for the flay. Jiizuke will find the counter kill, but Blaber looking for it, gets the execution kill. Danny now forced to flash his way out of there. Cloud9 with Fudge there are going to get a second flash out of Ignar, and that's going to be Dragon.
Yeah, we're getting scraps here. Dragon's still available, as you just said, and that means Cloud9 is going to be able to pick up their second one off that one. Blaber is getting huge this game. The mid jungle that we've been focusing on coming into this series are performing.
I love that execution, that combo with the Dragon's Kick plus the Gore Drinker. That Syndra's not getting kicked in. That Syndra's going back to the fountain. Here's another look at it, though. They land the snare there from the Aphelios. Kind of base Svenskeren, he goes full in and then flashes out, but Vulcan had lined up his hook, so the flash is in a straight line against the wall. Hook still lands, Vulcan gets the punish. They then are able to get the second follow-up here with Perkz finding it onto Impact. And fishing around for number 2 here. It's good movement from Jiizuke to just barely avoid these skill shots. Both members actually just out of range.
Yeah, and so, of course, Vulcan ends up getting picked up, but just Blaber coming in, kicking his ribs in, by the way. DPS is a little high on that one. But yeah, me coming into that fight, I was looking on Evil Geniuses pretty much eyeing Perkz. Perkz didn't have flash for that fight. He was the primary target. So I was wondering if that was going to be the goal. They chose Vulcan understanding the risk and thought the burst would be high enough anyways.
So incredibly important that you have good positioning in these team fights, because the punishment on the front line comes through so quickly. There is not a super tanky member on Cloud9, but they do have a lot of burst to focus down any overextended member. So if someone like Svenskeren goes in, stopwatch is used early,
yeah,
they can easily punish those types of moves. Impact is the only one here really on the entire map that can survive for a long time. Even the kind of, quote-unquote tanky supports like Nautilus there for Vulcan can get melted.
And frontline, not that big right now for either side, basically non-existent for Cloud9. It is, more damage items here for Impact, although he will get tankier as the game goes on. He will not be a tank. This is Sett, not on.
Yep.
So Cloud9 are setting things up. They've got their second dragon. They've managed to twist the gold lead back in their favor. But again, still a very close game here. It does feel like execution early on, though, is going to Cloud9.
Yeah, one of my concerns coming into this draft is if Cloud9 had an advantage, they would be able to solidify it, because you have Syndra and Diana that are both champions that, very easy to itemize against. Not only are you thinking about third item MR stacking that we'll get to, but also Merc Treads being an itemization there from C9 is going to make it harder and harder for Syndra to play the game as the game goes on. So the fact that now Cloud9's able to wrestle control away from Evil Geniuses is going to make it harder for them.
I like that point because, Jiizuke, he's going to have eyes on Zven. He's going to try and nail Zven, who's got, the boots of swiftness instead of the Merc Tread. So he's got the extra move speed to try and dodge and have good positioning to not get stunned. But if he gets hit, he's going to get blown up.
Don't need tenacity if you never get hit, as Cloud9 are going to get some vision out around the Baron. Perkz is massive, by the way. 2 items done, 302. Worth a cool 300 extra gold if he can take him down, as Cloud9 are looking to set up yet another bait.
Another reason why I like Boots of Swiftness on Varus is because the self-slow reduction actually works on the slow that you apply to yourself while you're charging up your arrow, just like it does for Vi.
Yeah.
And so it allows you to get these really, minute details down. When you just need a couple more inches to land that arrow, you get a little bit more speed to move up and hit it.
All right, well, looks like a reset here for either side. Next dragon up in 1:45. Gonna have eyes on that one for Cloud9 here. But again, mid towers have been felled there by EG. Cloud9 still looking to work on it. They don't have too much left to go on it. But Zven, has to be patient. Can't just face check the tower, hope to knock it down.
Yep, have to play sitting ducks on that, waiting for your jungle support to ultimately move towards you. Evil Geniuses playing topside is only going to be temporary. They're trying to create space for Jiizuke to get top lane push, which is necessary. He needs to do it now before Dragon comes up, and then they can get position around it. Giving up third Drake over to Cloud9 would just make this game insanely difficult to play out. So I would expect that to be only just for now. It feels like Cloud9 are just going to sit right now within the current vision that they've placed, which means that Evil Geniuses are just going to have to walk into them.
And I think one of their biggest tools to utilize in enforcing those poor decisions from EG is Fudge and Fudge's advantage here over Impact that he's been able to farm. Farming up a Storm here on Gangplank has very big repercussions because you also are able to generate extra gold with your passive. He affords them the side lane push plus the first move into the possible team fights while still having access to the giant slow from his ultimate. It's now a 2-level advantage, by the way, for him over Impact. So if Fudge is able to push out on top side first, this is going to allow Cloud9 the extra kind of timing window that they have to pressure Evil Geniuses, force them into that scenario. I definitely agree with your call from last time, though. Maybe an earlier teleport from him would give them a better result for their team fight. But, man, he's approaching even level 16 here on the GP.
Yeah, I was going to call back to that because at the end of the day, I mean, he's just trying to deny the minions and experience that Impact has been ditching to be on the objective first, but this looks like it's just going to be a free dragon over to Cloud9.
And they're able to rotate him, Fudge, from topside pushing to mid wave, so they don't give up the mid wave that EG try and push on during that dragon. Very good kind of ping-ponging between objectives here for Fudge. He pushed out topside, comes mid to cover, farming everything he can see. Everything in sight is just turning into gold in the hands of Fudge.
Yep.
Going to be a very fast level 16. We'll have to keep our eyes on that one. But Jiizuke, I mean, kind of waved the white flag for EG in the top lane. As soon as you saw him there in the other wave with 10 seconds to the dragon, like, okay, you're not fighting for this one. You're fighting for Soul. Yeah,
and here's the thing about this. I feel like Evil Geniuses do need to contest Soul. A lot of the times, the other option is to force the enemy team to answer your Baron control. But with the composition Evil Geniuses have, they can't really Baron dance for that long. If Blue Trinket catch them hitting the pit, they have to walk away. Diana, Thresh, like, they have actually quite squishy members. So that is at their detriment. They need to be either sacking waves to get to that 4th dragon earlier, or they just need to take that risk.
Or they need to gang up and pick off the split pusher. All members of Cloud9 are through the river. They were kind of fainting at a strong play here, but Ignar covering on Thresh on your screen there. This hovering distance up on that top side, just threatening that he has the lantern to get Jiizuke out of any sort of top side play from Cloud9, keeps them safe. They do give up all that vision around Baron and the setup, but at least they keep their split pushers safe for now.
That's a good ulti. They're going to go in for it. They find the hook, and Danny, quick fingers won't save him that time.
He thought he was out there. Just the tip, it hits Danny, and that's a kill. It's a pretty long death timer, and all the control Cloud9 has over the objective, they can just start it.
Yeah, they're not even going to mess around with split pushing here. They teleport Fudge in for the Baron setup. This allows the extra DPS of Fudge to burn down the Baron quicker, plus threatens those barrels. Will EG face check 4v5?
They don't have a lot of time. Perkz ulted the Baron, by the way.
He ulted Svenskeren. He tried to ult Svenskeren and whiffs.
I mean, he's keeping him out, but Cloud9 have to finish this. Jiizuke getting poked a little low. Yeah. Cloud9 may be looking to turn for the fight, but they're still on the Baron. Zven and Blaber tanking it. Got to be a little careful with Fudge with the barrel, keeping them out. Cloud9, I believe they've got the objective, and in fact, they have.
Fudge does so much. He gets level 16 now off that Baron, too. He zones everyone. I was going to mention before, we don't often see Shreldia's Grudge built on Gangplank because slows don't stack in this game. It's just the stronger slow is going to be applied, and barrels already have armor penetration and slow, plus the ultimate applies slow. But this does mean that he's going to have extra armor penetration for him as well. Plus, it allows you, your Q harass is very threatening because you already went the Divine Sunder build. So you have plenty of sustain there, but it allows not only his zoning for team fights, plus his split pushing to be a factor. And Cloud9 with the Baron, now they can push out on the entire map, get multiple waves in their favor, and siege up against EG.
And it's a small thing. It could just be good setup as well, or just like a small thing, added good setup for what is the already existing hard CC and Cloud9's comp. Evil Geniuses couldn't walk into the Baron vision that they had there because not only just what Fudge was doing, but Vulcan was just looking at him with his big old hook. He missed one, sure, but it felt like Cloud9 was more than willing to turn. That Baron itself, they knew was an inevitability. It was the fight that they wanted, and it's going to be the same with Dragon coming up in a minute.
And now Cloud9 using this Red Bull Baron power play to just push themselves into the enemy jungle. Fudge has set up the bottom side. They'll take that. They're going to do as much damage as they can, and then they can fall back to the Soul when they've shoved EG all the way back to their fountain.
they just have so much poke that they can land beforehand. You know, these Gangplank barrels, but also Sven's arrows going through. If multiple of those lands, then EG, all of a sudden they have to turn around the front line. They're only now just recalling Syndra from top side, so Jiizuke will recall to try and stop this inhibitor push.
And this goes back to what you mentioned in draft, but ultimately the fact that, Fudge hasn't played this pick in a little bit, just throughout, he hasn't played it in summer, but it's so valuable against this composition. Diana, we already saw in the previous fight, goes in, no way to get out if this ultimate is used defensively, not only making it difficult for the range champions of Evil Geniuses to follow up, but difficult for, of course, Diana to escape. Same goes for Sett. I think it's a great lane matchup. I think it's great compositionally versus Evil Geniuses, something that EG needs to address.
I love this from Cloud9, just shutting off the lights out in the enemy jungle, and now looking for a pickoff here is Fudge. Maybe has the angle. EG, they have to get in because that soul's coming up soon.
Oh, no, Diana.
Blaber getting in there, and there's the kill, maybe. Blaber going to be the target. Great stopwatch there, and the ulti over the top will not connect, but Blaber, Gold Drinker, pops. He lived for so long. Cloud9, get their jungler out of there.
Yeah, that's a sticky situation for Blaber there. Luckily, Lee Sin able to get out of it with everything used. Kick and flash and dashes down. It's going to be the soul, though, acquired for Cloud9, and you just have to feel with the advantage that they've been able to build up. Plus, still having 12 seconds left on the Baron. They can get some Baron-empowered recalls off to reset insanely quickly. Purchase plus the soul is going to be a very, very powerful push.
Yeah, and immediately after that one, you see the TP being used by Jiizuke on the top lane wave because he knows at this point, Rocky Montage playing, farm up anything you can.
He's like, I'm teleporting for this like half wave that's up there. I'll get that, and then he just recalls too right afterwards. Maybe it will be a critical item combination here. Definitely going to be, strict defense for Evil Geniuses at this point. They have struggled to do so thus far in the game. Now they're going to be sieged up. Secondary turrets still exist in mid and top side, and those are very valuable. So I don't think Cloud9 have to really overextend to get some good extra gold value out of this. They've got the Ocean Soul, so you can just fish around for your poke with the Gangplank, with the Varus. Even if you get chunked out while doing so, just back up for a second, go hit something, and you'll get your Ocean regen.
And I love what EG is doing here. I mean, they're just setting up and seeing if they can find a play. They have still good playmaking in both Diana and Sett, and also great front-to-back with Aphelios. So this game is not over by any means, even with the 6+ FTX gold advantage that they have. So a lot's going for them still.
Looking good, though, on the Cloud9 side. 6 stacks on the Magice as well for Perkz. These Cloud9 solo laners have just been parked in the side lanes. They got the monthly pass, all right. Perkz level 18, Fudge is level 17. They haven't left. I mean, getting stronger and stronger.
It's definitely going to be on their minds for Evil Geniuses. Yeah, they're going to have some very big heroics, from the likes of Danny on this Aphelios. He is now hit level 16, and he does have a stopwatch.
And an Infinity Edge.
So sometimes you can get those big heroic AD carry plays, especially coming off of the previous series from him. Maybe something like that is in the cards, but that's really where a lot of the surprise has to come from because Cloud9 have been able to do such a large item advantage for themselves. Having those crit multipliers, though, with your Infinity Edge for Danny and the stopwatch safety and White Gun, maybe he'll be able to, keep them in it.
Yeah, not only just the fact that Green 1 White Gun are the two best ones at being able to play out in fights, so another one would just be maybe even Purple Gun to set up the team for if he sees an angle on Vulcan. Feels like Vulcan can really be the only viable strategy. Blaber, I guess, but he has GA now, so it's only getting harder from there.
That's the problem that money does in this game. The more money your opponents get this giant advantage over you, all of a sudden they have extra lives, and that means tower actually going to go down here. Svenskeren looking for a possible flank, but he does get seen by that ward.
Yeah, stun onto Blaber, but not enough for the follow-up, and money, just classic. Bailing yourself out of your problems by buying your way out. As Cloud9 do get another tower there in mid. It's 5-3 in that objective. Elder Dragon will be up in just under 3 minutes. And of course, there's a Baron to fall back to as well, which given the amount of control Cloud9 have had over the Rift since they took that first Baron, not going to be too tricky for them to force EG into them once again.
Yeah. And so from EG's perspective, they know what's going to happen for the next, let's say, 3 minutes. This Baron's going to be set up. EC9 already has positioning here. And so for Evil Geniuses, they need to make their choice. Fight for this Baron or fight for Elder Dragon, where now it's going to be a Baron up C9 with the pressure that they've already been putting through. Danny's been marked.
Yeah, easy Baron transition though for Cloud9, I assume, because they've got full wards all over this map. It's completely dark for the side of Evil Geniuses. Thank you, observers. This just shows how scary it is for EG, guys.
And Perkz, again, not going to shockwave the Baron, is going to look to shockwave a jungler out of the area. Svenskeren going the long way around here to try and get something happening. Perkz, look at the defense! He's found him. Now Svenskeren's going to start that fight with the shockwave connects, and that is so much damage. Look at the offense to lead him. They take him down. They swap to offense. It's Vulcan in the front line, tanking it up. He'll trade his life for Ignar as Jiizuke is going to get zoned off by Fudge, and Danny and Impact are going to be left to the wolves and the rest of Cloud9. The Dunkaroonie comes in for Impact. Great face breaker, but Danny in stasis can't fight. They'll dodge out the incoming damage. The poke their return is better. Danny on the wrong side of the rift, and it is no 1v5 this time. It is Impact going down. It is Cloud9 almost collecting the ace.
Yeah, can't outplay that one. In that situation, what can you do? You know, Svenskeren tried to play as creatively as possible to get around to see if he can get a steal. The rest of his team were just walking into barrels, into Orianna. So, Svenskeren thought he got the jump on him. Not the case. Great Ori ultimate to just eviscerate Svenskeren.
And I think it's worth going over the check marks that Cloud9 check off to start out this play. They completely clean this area of any wards. The only thing that I really had to worry about was, oh, would there be a flank teleport from Impact coming from behind us or something? Or is there some route that Svenskeren actually gets in for a steal? So they cut all of those off. And Perkz, for your call out there, Pastry, has had his eye on Svenskeren this whole game. Constantly using Shockwave, constantly zoning with the ball. He kept him out of the pit. He even solo killed them there at the blast cone before anybody else could follow up. And they're able to just chase them through their own jungle here so efficiently. Really like how Cloud9 are not taking any risks, given that they're so far ahead at this point in game number 1 of the series.
Exactly.
You don't want to throw anything out there to allow EG to come back. And even if you extend a game like this while you're winning, for a series like this, it actually does help you, like the mental advantage. They're losing for longer and longer. You're trying to demoralize your opponent team. And so Cloud9 now wearing Baron again and having the Ocean Soul are coming to finish it.
Hey, this is what we saw when they went up against Golden Guardians, albeit, when they just found a good fight, they wiped Golden Guardians, right? What I wanted to see from Cloud9 during the regular season was that level of discipline when they had an advantage, either through Perkz or through Zven. Just play it much slower, play through your vision. In this situation, as you said, they weren't even interested in a 50-50. That was never going to be on the play. They knew that Svenskeren had to walk into them.
All right, here comes EG. Svenskeren again, trying to make it happen. Impact with a flank, looking maybe kind of good here, but Vulcan goes in. Blaber on a rampage, takes out one. He lives forever. The GA still doesn't proc. Finally, will be given a second life, but Fudge is going to flash in. Doesn't have the flash to flash Q to Jiizuke, but Cloud9 will take in Nexus instead. A very disciplined game number 1, but at the end of it all, it is an overwhelming Cloud9 victory.
Cloud9 opening up this series with a victory. The beginning of the game was definitely scrappy, but it felt like quite quickly Cloud9 take control, and their macro to extend it and utilize that lead was very well done.
This was always going to be the hardest series to call, it felt like, for me in the playoffs. Like, it's an elimination series. It's a Cloud9 that we know are skilled and we know are ramping up. While Evil Geniuses have been there in the season. They were tied for first in the regular season, and sure, the last series didn't do so well for them. But for me, you heard it from the analyst desk, 2 Evil Geniuses flags rising there. They thought that Evil Geniuses will look good. Obviously, they have a long series, but it feels like Cloud9 is finally showing up.
I think one of the pivotal moments to me that sticks out in my mind is the fight by mid lane towards the river, where they think they've got Vulcan.
Yes.
And Svenskeren commits and the stopwatch is down, but then it gets turned around. Cloud9 got 3 kills off of that, got the second dragon, and a lot of map control.
All right, well, good stuff there. And just like that is Cloud9 the pull ahead in the best of 5 series. On the other side, the State Farm analyst desk is going to be breaking down that win, so we'll see you there.